Have you ever felt stuck in a rut? Like your life is on repeat with no significant changes? Like every day is a blur of busyness, but when you look back, you don't see any real progress or growth? That's exactly where I found myself. Lost in old habits that no longer inspired me. Everything changed when I stumbled upon the simple yet powerful secrets of Stoic philosophy. I realized that what I needed wasn't complexity or ambitious goals, but a calmer, more mindful, and realistic approach to life. Stoicism, with its simple yet profound principles, opened up a whole new path for me. It wasn't about changing everything at once, but about taking small, steady steps. And that's how I transformed my life in just 1 week. In this video, I'll share with you the 5 powerful habits that completely changed my life. These aren't just theories, but concrete steps you can take right now to see real results. They are the lessons I learned from Stoicism, the philosophy that helped me change my mindset, perception, and improve my quality of life. I tried, I failed, but ultimately I succeeded in creating a new way of living. And now I want to share these secrets with you. Why am I sharing this? Because I believe that anyone can positively change their life if they have the right tools. The habits I'm about to share aren't extraordinary or complicated. On the contrary, they are accessible, simple, and can be applied immediately. You don't have to wait for a special moment to start. It's right now, in every small decision, every new habit you choose. I know there are many people out there who are feeling tired, struggling with themselves, and don't know how to move forward. I've been there, and I understand that feeling. That's why I want to tell you that there is a way to make a difference in your life. This journey is not as complicated or difficult as you think, but it requires determination and patience. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just start with a small habit and gradually develop it. Let's take some time to explore these 5 habits, not from the perspective of a theorist or a preacher, but from the real-life experience of someone who once felt lost. I've gone through challenges, setbacks, and then I realized that everything starts with the basics. I'll share with you the difficult moments, the doubts, and the feeling of victory when I finally overcame myself. Imagine waking up one morning, not with fatigue and stress, but with a feeling of energy and a positive outlook on the new day. You start your morning with moments of quiet, listening to your body and mind instead of being swept away by the hustle and bustle of life. You know how to manage your time to do what truly matters and appreciate every moment. That's what these 5 habits can bring you. On this journey, we will go through each habit together, exploring why they are so powerful. I will not only talk about the theory, but also share personal stories, moments when I realized the value of each habit and the lessons I learned. Each part of the video will not just be a specific guide, but also an invitation for you to participate and challenge yourself. And if you're wondering if this is really possible, let me assure you that it is. These habits don't require you to completely change your life or give up the things you love. Instead, they help you find balance, mindfulness, and joy in the simple things every day. Imagine that you are not just living, but truly experiencing life. You don't just go through each day, but also appreciate every moment. Find meaning and joy in small things. That is the ultimate goal of this journey. Not to become a perfect person, but to live a fuller, more meaningful life. If you're ready, grab a cup of coffee, find a quiet space, and let's begin this journey together. Let me guide you through each habit, each principle, and together we'll discover the power of small changes. I believe that after watching this video, you will have the tools you need to create positive change in your life. Now, we are ready to embark on the journey of changing our lives with these 5 powerful habits. I know that starting something new is never easy, but remember that all change starts with small steps. What matters is where you start and how to make these principles a part of your daily life. And that's why I want to introduce you to the first habit that completely changed my life. Morning mindfulness. Let's explore the power of starting a new day with a mindful and positive mindset and why this can make a significant difference in every aspect of your life. Part 1. Wake up early. The first habit that completely changed my life is waking up early. I know it sounds simple, but don't underestimate its power. Waking up in the first hours of the morning not only gives me more time to get things done, but also gives me a greater sense of control over my life. Those quiet mornings provide space for reflection and a chance to listen to myself and find direction for the new day. It's not just about rearranging my schedule, but about starting each day with awareness and peace. Before, my mornings used to be chaotic. The alarm would go off, I'd hit snooze and burrow back under the covers, hoping for a few more minutes of sleep. But then I'd find myself scrambling out of bed, feeling sluggish and tired. Those kinds of mornings really threw my whole day off. I'd start each day racing against time, skipping breakfast and rushing out the door. This left me feeling stressed, overwhelmed, and always starting the day with a negative mindset. Then, I decided to try a different approach. Waking up early and dedicating time for myself. This wasn't easy, especially when you're used to sleeping in. I started by setting my alarm 30 minutes earlier than usual and promised myself I wouldn't hit snooze. Initially, it was really tough. I had to drag myself out of bed at 5 a.m. while the world seemed to be still asleep. I felt tired, my body was resisting, and all I could think about was going back to bed. But after a few days of perseverance, something magical happened. I started to feel the tranquility and peace of the early morning. There was no traffic noise, no sudden work calls, and no pressure waiting for me. It was just me and my thoughts. These moments became so precious and special that I didn't want to miss them anymore. I realized that these first few hours were the time I could dedicate to myself, to think, to listen, and to prepare for the long day ahead. I began my mornings by spending a few minutes meditating. I would sit on my balcony, breathe deeply, and listen to the rhythm of my breath. These moments of stillness not only helped me relax, but also put me in a positive frame of mind to start the new day. As I focused on my breath, all my worries gradually faded away, and I could feel the calmness in my soul. This is how I reconnected with myself and refreshed my spirit before entering a busy day. After that, I would do some light exercise to wake up my body. This doesn't have to be strenuous. I would simply walk around the neighborhood or do some basic yoga poses. This not only invigorated me, but also improved my mood and energy for the whole day. Just a few basic stretches made me feel the circulation in my body and the comfort it brought. I began to see that morning was the ideal time to take care of both my body and mind. Another thing I learned from waking up early was the opportunity to proactively prepare for a new day. Before, I used to have a rushed breakfast or even skip it altogether because I didn't have time. But when I started waking up early, I was able to prepare a nutritious breakfast and enjoy it in peace. This gave me a sense of calm and energy to start the day with initiative and confidence. Waking up early is not easy, especially when you're used to staying up late and starting your day in a rush. But if you want to challenge yourself and experience a mindful life, try making small changes gradually. Don't aim to wake up at 5 a.m. immediately if that's beyond your capabilities. Instead, try waking up 15 minutes earlier than your current time. Give yourself time to adjust to this change. Once you get used to waking up 15 minutes earlier, continue adjusting for another 15 minutes and so on. Gradually, you will form the habit of waking up early without feeling too difficult. The important thing is to be patient and not force yourself too much. Consider waking up early as an opportunity to reconnect with yourself, to spend time for yourself, and to prepare for a new day proactively. Create a quiet space for yourself in the morning. This can be as simple as sitting on the balcony, sipping a cup of coffee, and listening to the sounds of nature. Let the morning be your own time to think, to relax, and to plan for the long day ahead. Try writing down the ideas, goals, and plans you want to accomplish for the day. This not only helps you manage your time more effectively, but also brings a sense of initiative and better control. If you find it difficult to wake up early, try creating a reason to wake up. This could be spending time reading a favorite book, doing some gentle yoga, or enjoying a cup of tea in peace. When you have a reason to wake up, getting out of bed in the morning will be much easier. Remember that waking up early is not about having more time to work or get more things done, but about having time to take care of yourself and be ready for a new day. Finally, remember that waking up early is not for everyone. Each person has their own biological rhythm, and it's important to find the time that works best for you. But if you feel like you're missing out on the peaceful and mindful moments of the morning, then trying to wake up early can be a good step towards discovering a new way of life. Give yourself a chance to experience this change and see what it brings you. Waking up early has brought me peace and time to connect with myself. But time alone is not enough. We need to know how to make the most of those first few hours to take care of both our body and mind. And that's why the next habit I want to share is daily exercise. Let's explore how this has changed my life. Part 2. Daily exercise. The second habit I want to share is daily exercise. This isn't just about physical training, but also a way to care for your mind and spirit. Daily exercise helps you maintain a healthy body, but more importantly, it brings mental and emotional balance. When you move, you not only release negative energy, but also rebuild the connection between your body and mind. I used to be someone who always found excuses not to exercise. There were days when I felt too tired to lift a finger, and I always thought that exercise was a luxury I couldn't afford with my busy schedule. I constantly procrastinated with phrases like, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I have too much to do today." And tomorrow would pass just like any other day. This procrastination made me feel guilty, but I didn't know where to start. One day, I suddenly realized that I was sinking into a lazy and passive lifestyle. My body started showing signs like fatigue, stress, and even back pain from sitting too much at work. This was a clear warning sign that I needed to change. And so, I decided not to wait for tomorrow anymore. I started dedicating 20 minutes each day to exercise. At first, it wasn't easy at all. My body was almost uncooperative, and the first few minutes of exercise made me feel uncomfortable and want to give up. But I told myself that if I didn't change, I would never know what I was capable of. And so, I persevered every day. Even if it was just 20 minutes, I tried to keep myself moving. This habit gradually brought about a change that I didn't expect. It wasn't just about feeling physically healthier, but I also noticed my mind becoming clearer and more alert. I started to enjoy those moments of exercise as a way to release all the stress, pressure, and worries I carried inside. Gradually, exercise was no longer an obligation, but became an integral part of my life. One day, I decided to go for a morning run. It was a beautiful morning with fresh air and a gentle breeze. I stepped out of the house with my running shoes and felt each step hitting the ground. At first, I just focused on counting my steps and regulating my breathing. But as I continued running, I began to feel the lightness of each breath and the freedom in my mind that I hadn't experienced in a long time. It felt like I was freed from all anxieties, as if all the pressure and stress were fading away with each step. As I ran through familiar streets, I noticed details I had never noticed before. The sunlight shining through the leaves, the birds singing in the early morning, and the stillness of the morning undisturbed by the hustle and bustle of life. That moment brought me a strange peace, and I realized that sometimes we just need to do simple things like this to recharge our energy. Another memory I have is when I tried yoga. At first, I was quite hesitant because I thought yoga was only for flexible and agile people. But then I decided to give it a try. The first few sessions were really difficult because I wasn't used to having to balance and control my body in unfamiliar positions. But after a while, I started to notice the change. Not only physically, but also in the way I dealt with stress. Yoga helped me learn to listen to my body. and more importantly, to accept my own limitations. If you want to start a daily exercise habit, remember that you don't have to set big goals right from the start. Don't pressure yourself to be perfect or try to overexert yourself. Start with small steps and gradually build this habit in a way that suits you. The most important thing is to maintain patience and consistency. Find a form of exercise that you enjoy. There are many ways to move and exercise your body without having to run or go to the gym. You can try walking, cycling, yoga, dancing, or even just gentle stretching. The important thing is that you feel comfortable and interested in these activities, because when you enjoy them, you will find it easier to maintain them. If you're a beginner, try setting aside 10 to 15 minutes each day for exercise. Think of it as a time to reconnect with your body. You don't need a complicated or strenuous workout plan. Just start with small things, maybe a short walk, a few stretches before bed, or even taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Every movement is a way to refresh your body and mind. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Sometimes we may feel unable or have no time to exercise. Don't let this discourage you. The important thing is not to give up, even if there are days when you only spend 5 minutes doing a few basic exercises. This is still better than doing nothing at all. Finally, remember that exercise is not just about improving your physical health. It's also a way to take care of your mind and emotions. When you move, your body releases chemicals that improve your mood and create a sense of happiness. At the same time, you also have the opportunity to relieve stress, create balance in your life, and uplift your spirit. Try starting with small steps and maintain this habit daily. You will be surprised by the positive changes it brings to both your body and mind. Don't worry if you have difficulties at first, because building a new habit always takes time and patience. The important thing is to keep trying and always look for opportunities to grow and improve yourself. Daily exercise has brought me balance and a sense of peace in my soul. But besides taking care of the body, we also need to take care of our minds. And that's why the next habit I want to share is journaling. Let's explore how this has changed the way I see life. Part 3. Journaling. Journaling has become the foundation of my personal growth. It's not just about writing down what happened, but a way to understand myself better. Journaling is like a journey of self-discovery, where you can confront and release complex thoughts and emotions in your mind. It's not about writing to impress, but to connect and explore yourself. I remember when I first started journaling, I really didn't know what to write. I held the pen and stared at the blank page for a long time, wondering if I had anything important enough to write down. But I decided to try starting with simple things. I wrote about my basic emotions, how I felt that day, what made me happy or stressed, and just like that, words gradually appeared on the page. In the early days, journaling felt like a dry recording of daily activities. But after a while, I began to notice that writing down these thoughts helped me release complex emotions that I couldn't fully understand before. I wasn't just writing about what happened, but also about my feelings about those events. I started to realize that when I wrote down my feelings, I could better understand the reasons behind them. I realized that many times I felt stressed, not because of work, but because of how I faced pressure. One memory I'll never forget is an evening after a stressful workday. I had an important meeting with my team, and all day I was thinking about how to avoid mistakes. Feelings of anxiety and pressure weighed heavily on my mind, making it impossible for me to focus. When I got home, I decided to take some time to write down my thoughts and feelings. At first, I just wrote about the anxiety, about the negative scenarios that could happen in the meeting. But gradually, as I wrote it all down, I realized that many of my worries were not really rational. Writing down my feelings was like having a dialogue with myself. I could look more objectively at what was happening in my mind. From there, I could find ways to solve problems more calmly. As I continued to journal daily, I realized that not only were negative emotions released, but even small joys were more appreciated when I wrote about them. For example, one day I had to prepare for a very important meeting. The stress and anxiety kept me awake the night before. I felt pressured and insecure. When everyone around me seemed completely ready, I felt unprepared. These thoughts kept repeating in my head, making me even more anxious. Then, I decided to take out my journal and write about these feelings. I wrote about the fear of failure, about the worries that others might disagree with my opinion, or that I would ruin everything. But after writing it down, I started to analyze these worries. What was really important? What could I control, and what couldn't I control? I realized that many of my worries were unrealistic and stemmed only from a lack of confidence. As I wrote down my thoughts and analyzed each aspect of the problem, I began to feel relieved. Instead of continuing to wallow in worry, I could look at the problem objectively and remind myself that no matter what the outcome, I had tried my best. Thanks to journaling, I not only prepared better for the meeting, but also felt much more confident. Another example is when I started recording the things I was grateful for. Every night, I would spend a few minutes writing down 3 things I was grateful for that day. At first, this didn't seem very important, but gradually, I began to notice a change in the way I perceived life. Instead of just focusing on what I didn't have, I started to appreciate what I did have. This helped me cultivate a positive spirit and create a happier lifestyle. Journaling doesn't have to be complicated or elaborate. You don't have to be a good writer or have deep thoughts to start journaling. The most important thing is that you take the time to listen to yourself and write down what's going on in your mind. If you don't know where to start, try spending 10 minutes each night writing about how you felt during the day. Remember that journaling is not about showing off or impressing others. It is a personal journey where you can be completely honest with yourself. You don't have to write beautifully or perfectly. Just record your thoughts, feelings, and observations throughout the day. Think of your journal as a confidant where you can freely share without fear of judgment. To help you get started, here are some suggestions for what you can write in your journal. Record your emotions. How do you feel at the end of the day? What made you happy or sad? What thoughts are bothering you? Write it down without worrying too much about getting the words right. Write about important events. Did anything special happen today? It could be an interesting conversation, a small success, or even a failure. Recording these moments will help you keep memories and think about them more clearly. Express gratitude. Try writing down 3 things you are grateful for today. These could be small things like having a delicious cup of coffee, a phone call from an old friend, or a compliment from a colleague. Practicing gratitude will help you create a more positive spirit. Plan for tomorrow. Finally, you can write down your goals or plans for tomorrow. This helps you prepare mentally and be ready to face challenges. Remember that there are no hard and fast rules in journaling. You can experiment with different writing styles until you find one that suits you. The most important thing is that you feel comfortable and truthful in every word. Journaling not only helps me understand myself better, but also helps me appreciate the little things in life. But to truly maintain a balanced life, I realized that I needed to pay attention to how I eat, and that's why the next habit I want to share is mindful eating. Let's explore how this habit has changed the way I enjoy and appreciate food. Part 4. Mindful eating. The 4th habit I adopted is mindful eating. It's not just a way to control my diet, but a method to completely transform my relationship with food. Before, eating was simply an act to fill my stomach and provide energy. But when I started practicing mindful eating, I learned to truly savor my food, recognize the sensations each meal brings, and appreciate every moment of enjoying those simple pleasures. I used to eat in a hurry. In the morning, I would often eat while checking my phone or reading work emails. The same went for lunch. I didn't really focus on the food, but just wanted to finish the meal quickly to continue working. This became a habit, and over time, I lost the ability to truly taste and appreciate the flavors of my food. Eating gradually became an unconscious and boring act for me. One day, I realized I had just finished a meal and couldn't even remember what I had eaten. It was a moment that woke me up from my busy and distracted lifestyle. I started to feel like I was losing an important part of life, the joy of simple things like enjoying a meal. Then I stumbled upon the concept of mindful eating and decided to give it a try. At first, I faced many difficulties. I had to force myself to turn off my phone and not let my mind wander to other thoughts while eating. However, I persevered and gradually noticed the change. When I focused on the food in front of me, I realized that every meal could bring joy if I knew how to appreciate it. Not only that, mindful eating also helped me connect with myself. When I slowed down, I could recognize when I was full and when I was just eating out of habit. This helped me control my eating better and create a healthier lifestyle. A specific example I always remember is one ordinary morning when I decided to enjoy a bowl of oatmeal as usual. But this time, I decided to sit down, not hold my phone, and not do anything else. I focused on the bowl of oatmeal in front of me and paid attention to each spoonful. I began to notice the sweet aroma of honey blending with the soft texture of the oatmeal. Each bite became an enjoyable experience, and I felt the deliciousness fully. This was completely different from previous times when I just ate hastily without really caring about the taste. When I took the time to eat mindfully, I began to discover small but important things in life. Each meal became a moment for me to pause and connect with myself. I realized that paying attention to and savoring each bite not only helped me enjoy the food, but also helped me develop patience and focus in other aspects of life. Mindful eating doesn't require you to completely change your eating habits right away. To start, you can try practicing this habit with one meal a day. This could be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Anytime you feel most comfortable. The important thing is that you focus entirely on the food in front of you and enjoy every moment. When you start a mindful meal, try turning off your phone, turning off the TV, and eliminating any other distractions. Create a quiet space for yourself so you can fully focus on your food. You can start by taking a few deep breaths before eating to relax and bring your mind to the present. Next, try savoring each bite and paying attention to the taste, texture, and aroma of the food. Notice how this food makes you feel and what you enjoy most about it. Don't just eat because it's a habit or an obligation, but make each meal a memorable experience. Also, try to listen to your body. When you eat mindfully, you will be more aware of when you feel full. This helps you avoid overeating and maintain a healthier lifestyle. Don't eat just because it's a habit, but eat when your body really needs it, and stop when you feel full. If you have trouble getting started with mindful eating, don't worry. Start with small steps and you'll gradually get used to this habit. The most important thing is to be patient and always remind yourself that mindful eating is about taking care of your body and mind. The habit of mindful eating is not just about controlling your diet, but also about connecting with yourself and appreciating the moments in life. Try taking the time to practice this habit and feel the difference it makes for you. Mindful eating has helped me change my relationship with food and enjoy life more fully. But to truly maintain a balanced life in the age of technology, I realized that I needed to set limits on screen time. And that's why the next habit I want to share is limiting screen time. Let's explore how this habit has helped me improve my focus and enjoy life. Part 5. Limiting screen time. Last but not least is the habit of limiting screen time. We live in a digital world, and it's easy to get caught in the vortex of scrolling through social media, watching videos, or even working on the computer. But when you realize that screen time is consuming precious moments of your life, you'll see the importance of setting limits for yourself. It's not just about reducing screen time, but freeing up time for more important things: hobbies, family, and connecting with yourself. I used to spend hours in front of the screen without realizing it. Every day, after work, I would habitually watch a few episodes of a show or browse social media. At first, I thought this was a way to entertain and relax after a long, tiring day. But over time, I noticed that not only was it affecting my sleep, but also my energy and focus the next day. I remember evenings when, instead of enjoying time with my family or pursuing personal hobbies, I would be glued to the TV or phone screen. This became a habit that I didn't even realize until I started to feel like my life was spiraling out of control. I felt constantly stressed and lacking in energy, and I didn't understand why things had become that way. One day, I decided to set screen time limits for myself. I started by limiting the time I spent on my phone for non-work-related activities. This wasn't easy, because whenever I felt bored, I would habitually pick up my phone to scroll. But gradually, I realized that every time I spent time away from the screen, I could discover new things that I hadn't noticed before. Limiting my screen time helped me realize that I had more time for personal hobbies and important relationships. Instead of spending hours scrolling through social media, I started experimenting with other activities like reading, writing, or even taking evening walks in the park. These moments became much more valuable than just sitting in front of a screen doing nothing truly meaningful. A specific example is one evening when, instead of watching TV after dinner as usual, I decided to take a walk in the park. At first, I felt a bit strange and unaccustomed to the lack of TV sounds in the background. But as I started to step outside, the relaxing feeling of fresh air and the quiet of the evening gradually dispelled my restlessness. While walking, I didn't bring my phone to browse the internet or listen to music, but simply allowed myself to immerse in the surrounding nature. The sound of the wind blowing through the leaves, the soft chirping of birds, and the stillness of the space brought me an indescribable sense of peace. I felt connected to nature and to myself, something I had never experienced before while sitting in front of a screen. After returning home, I felt refreshed and energized. I realized that a short walk could be much more relaxing and satisfying than watching a long movie. From then on, I decided to make walking a daily habit after dinner. Each walk became a time for me to connect with nature and listen to my own thoughts. If you also want to challenge yourself and limit your screen time, start with small steps. Don't try to change your habits too abruptly, but try to apply small steps every day. Here are some suggestions to get you started. Set screen time limits. Start by limiting the time you spend on your phone or other electronic devices unrelated to work. You can set a fixed time during the day when you don't use your phone, such as from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. This helps you create a habit of staying away from the screen and focusing on other activities. Find alternative activities. When you limit screen time, spend that time on other activities that you enjoy. This could include reading, journaling, trying a new sport, or engaging in creative activities like painting or playing a musical instrument. Finding alternative activities not only helps you entertain, but also brings joy and satisfaction. Create a no-phone habit before bed. Instead of browsing the internet or watching videos before bed, try replacing it with reading, meditation, or journaling. This not only helps you relax, but also improves sleep quality and boosts your spirits the next day. Spend time in nature. If you have the opportunity, spend time immersing yourself in nature. You can take a walk in the park, go hiking, or simply relax in the garden. Nature is always a source of inspiration and a place to listen to yourself. Create a technology-free time during the day. Try to create a certain amount of time each day where you don't use any technological devices. This could be in the morning when you wake up or in the evening before bed. During this time, focus on activities that don't require technology and connect with yourself. Remember that limiting screen time is not easy, especially when we are so used to using technology in our daily lives. But if you persevere and set specific limits for yourself, you will notice a positive change, not only in your health, but also in your mind and emotions. Limiting screen time has helped me reconnect with myself and the world around me. From waking up early, exercising, journaling, mindful eating, to limiting screen time, each of these habits has helped me build a more balanced and meaningful life. I hope that these habits will also bring you positive changes the way they have changed my life. Conclusion. Those are the 5 habits that completely changed my life in just 1 week. Each habit not only brought small changes, but also created a chain of positive impacts on my mind, spirit, and lifestyle. These habits not only helped me find balance, but also helped me discover a new part of myself, a part that I had never realized before. I learned that big progress doesn't come from big and sudden changes, but from small but steady steps. We don't need to make changes immediately and expect results right away. Instead, start with simple things. Be patient and consistent every day. From those small actions, you will feel a big shift in your life. When I started applying these habits, I didn't think they would have such a big impact. I started with simple steps, waking up a little earlier, moving more, writing down my thoughts, appreciating simple meals, and finally spending less time in front of the screen. These things seem small, but when done regularly, they created a change I never expected. Each habit is like a piece of the puzzle of life. When you put these pieces together, you will see that they not only improve your daily life, but also bring a deeper connection to yourself. Whether it's waking up early to enjoy the peaceful moments of the morning or journaling to understand myself better, each habit gives me a new perspective on life. And I hope that after watching this video, you will also find inspiration to try applying one of these habits. Remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Start with the habit that you feel is most suitable, and take the time to explore what it brings to you. Not every change has to be big from the start. Even small, steady steps can make a big difference. The important thing is that you dare to challenge yourself and step out of your comfort zone. Even small changes will help you create a more positive and meaningful lifestyle. Give yourself the opportunity to discover new things and find joy in every moment of life. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button to let me know that you got value from this content. Don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. Maybe they also need positive changes in their lives. And if you want to receive the next videos, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell icon so you don't miss any new content. I look forward to hearing your feedback after you try applying one of these habits. Leave a comment and share your experience with the community, because that's how we can learn and grow together. This journey is not just mine, but all of ours. And I'm excited to see you take the first steps on your journey. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. Keep a positive spirit, be patient with yourself, and remember that every day is a new opportunity for you to grow and improve. I believe you can create big changes from small steps. Always keep the faith and don't forget, small but persistent, that is the key to change.